bullish sentiment versus bearish sentiment. Peter McGuire from XM is joining us now. Hey, Pete, nice to see you to start the week. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, equities are going from strength to strength. A 6-day rally for global markets. What do you make of it?
Well, exactly, and good morning, Nadine. Yeah, you can't argue with the market. I mean, it's been one-way traffic and it's been very strongly bid up. So that overall, I think momentum may continue well into January. We'll just have to wait and see. But this coming out of the blocks has been almighty, and yeah, you can't get in the way of it. So we'll just have to see how the rest of the week pans out. But yeah, you've got to say the momentum and the positiveness is certainly sweeping across all equity markets.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay, but there's always plenty of trades out there, isn't it? And we are expecting to see quite a lot of volatility in FX markets. I mean, we're already seeing that, you know, particularly when it comes to that yen trade.
You bet. I mean, you know, 133, 134 was the handle, then it hit 131, and now you're looking at 128. It's been 127, I think 40 or so, 127.50. So it's had a very solid move, and the strengthening of the yen. The talk is we're going to see 45% probability, Nadine, of a 10 basis point, can you believe it? It would be nice to only have go up by 10 basis points, but yeah, that's where the Japanese bank may consider a rate rise. So it's nearly 50-50. We just got to wait and see how that all pans out over the next week or so.
So if we see a decision to remain on hold there in Japan, I mean, could that then trigger, you know, selling in the yen?
You might see a little bit of movement. I mean, it's been incredibly volatile. So I don't think that the vol will evaporate out of the yen. You've got to remember that it went from the best part of 120 all the way through to 150, and here we are back at 128, all in the period of around about 9 months. So it's just been dynamic. And if you trade at any market, we always said the Aussie was incredible, but the yen certainly, you know, was a giant compared to the Aussie. I just think it will remain, and it's going to be an almighty trade opportunity all of 23.
All right, let's get to the U.S. We will get, you know, more data coming from the U.S. While we are still expecting to see soft data coming through, it appears as if that is translating into more positivity for U.S. consumers, of course, because that could potentially mean, you know, the rate hike cycle peaking, and of course that is good for also not just, you know, mortgage holders, but expectations around inflation. So it appears as if, you know, the worm might be turning slightly in the States.
Well, that's right, and that's positive sentiment, and that goes across to equity markets, retail sales, and the overall health of the economy. And where the consumer, you never can bet against the might of the US consumer, Nadine. So they are very, very mighty, and we understand the job position. We're conscious as far as job starts for December were the slowest over that 2022 period, but still at 223,000. Not too bad. So it'll be interesting to see where we are the first Friday of February. But yes, the overall positiveness, sentiment, all of that has to be, don't wipe it out. And that's probably a good sign. We've also seen strong move to the downside as far as US dollar. So from a competitive standpoint, it's better for exports. So yeah, that's not a bad point. Worry about crude at the moment. That's something to keep an eye on.
Why worrying about crude?
85 bucks a barrel for Brent, where the, you know, well bid up, and you've got WTI sitting at $80, and the overall mood I think will be stronger from here. So I won't be surprised to take a 90 handle out sometime over the next week or two for Brent. WTI wouldn't be surprised to see an 84 number. You've got gold solidly hit up, Nadine. Considering where we were, gold has been almighty. Silver's up 34% in 3 months, from $18 to 24.5, and you've got gold sitting now at 19.21. And you know, I'm a fairly strong fan of it, and it's been just an almighty trade over the last couple of months.
Yeah, okay, and a lot of the enthusiasm around oil is about demand. A lot of that has extended out to other commodities, in particular because of the reopening of China, that narrative. So that is being seen as an overwhelmingly positive move for risk appetite, for risk assets, including the Aussie dollar. But is there a risk that we get too carried away with the positive side of the story around the China reopening?
Well, you know as well as I do that markets normally get ahead of themselves and then they get to a point where they just burn off that hot steam. And that could be well the case with currencies. Certainly with the US could be oversold, and the China story. So we've seen a dramatic move to the upside for iron ore. Have a look what's happened as far as copper, tin, all of the base metals have been strongly bid up over the last week. And we've just got to see where we are come Lunar New Year. We're a week early. I think we're running at around about the 22nd or so. So I think it starts next Sunday. And then we've naturally got that pause in the market for the best part of 2 weeks. So, yeah, we could be ahead of ourselves, but commodities, Nadine, have just been, you know, a great market to trade and certainly to observe for economic health globally.
All right, so we are watching commodities with much interest. As always, so we do get jobs data here. We do get Chinese GDP out this week. It's going to be pretty active.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, this week it will be game on. Then you're looking at the UK numbers, of course, with inflation and the chance they're going to see another 50 basis points there. You're talking about Japan. So all of those big global themes come together. You've got talk from the Fed. You've got, I just think, you know, the economic cycle, where we're going forward with equity. So, yeah, it's a time to be trading. Look at your screens. Don't get too overactive. But and you never go broke, as they say, Nadine, taking a profit.